little while ago, I did a video covering the changes that were announced that started with the Sword and Shield TCG sets. The biggest change being that Fairy type is gone, and that all of the Fairy type Pokemon would be consolidated into the Psychic type of cards, and the same kind of changes were being made to Poison types, where they would be changed to Dark types. And as far as type changes go for the TCG, those are the only two announcements that were officially made. However, looking at the first Sword and Shield set and looking at scans for the upcoming Rebel Clash expansion, there's one pretty glaring omission that has not been addressed. That being that there are no Dragon types being printed so far in the Sword and Shield sets. There was a Japanese promo Rayquaza released, but it's a colorless card to reflect the flying type nature of its typing and not the dragon side. And the Dragapult line has been represented as a Psychic type to reflect its ghost typing. And this absence just from these first two sets isn't enough to say that the dragon type is probably gone like Fairy type is. After all, they did do an official statement about the Fairy type before Sword and Shield released, so why wouldn't they just take that opportunity to go ahead and announce any changes they were making to the Dragon type as well? It could be that they were testing the waters to see how the TCG community reacted before they made any more huge drastic changes to the typings, because Dragon types are very popular cards and they've been a huge selling point for the TCG ever since the Dragon type was introduced. Every single block of hearts has had at least one set completely dedicated to a dragon theme. When the TCG changes for Sword and Shield were announced, Joshua Yell over at IGN did an in-depth interview with Creatures Inc. to really get all the specifics of the typing changes. I'll put the link down in the description if you want to read the full article. Essentially, they want to completely rebalance the TCG, which was one of the core features when this TCG was created. You had that kind of rock, paper, scissors dynamic that really shaped all of your deck building. That's why Scyther, Magmar, Electabuzz, and Hitmonchan made such a solid deck, because they all balance out one another. And that's something that the TCG has definitely lost over time. I feel that really started to go away with the Diamond and Pearl sets when they changed the weakness and resistance stuff there. But at this point, yeah, weaknesses don't mean a whole lot, and Creatures Inc. thinks it's because there's too many types. And so as they refocus, they want to focus on 5 main weaknesses, which are grass, fire, water, lightning, and fighting, and try to make the majority of Pokemon weak to one of those types, and try to create a new 5-way version of rock, paper, scissors for the TCG. And the game is definitely moving in that direction. If you break it down, of the 155 Pokemon that were introduced in Sword and Shield, 88% of those are weak to one of the 5 types I just listed. And from Japan's first expansion in VMAX Rising, 80% of those Pokemon are weak to one of those 5 types. So what we might see happen in response to this is that Dark and Steel type cards are really going to have less of a presence. A lot of Psychic type cards are going to be weak to themselves anyway, so if a Dragon type card was released, it would kind of have the same status as a normal type, where it won't be hitting any other cards for super effective weakness unless it's another Dragon card. But this is one of the main reasons that Fairy type cards were removed, is the only type they were hitting for weakness were Dragon type cards. So if we did get a Dragon type card, what type of card would it be weak to? Other dragons, Psychic type to represent Fairy, or Water types to represent Ice. I suppose the easiest way to kind of get away with this is if you have a pure Dragon type card like Goodra that you can't just shove over into a different typing like they did with Dragapult, then you just make it colorless like Dragon types used to be, and give it a weakness to either Psychic or Water. If they wanted to be really ballsy, they would give it a weakness to colorless, which would just be so problematic for the TCG in so many ways. In my opinion, these are some major steps in the right direction. I do believe that Dragon type has been low-key removed, and that they will make an official announcement for it. Maybe a little further down the line whenever they have to address it, when they finally have to print a pure Dragon type like a Druddigon or something. But this game does need rebalancing. in the current format. We've got the equivalents of EX and GX cards and Mega Evolutions because of G-Max cards, layered on top of just years of rapid power creep. I mean, when you've got basics coming in with 220 HP, yeah, you need something to kind of rebalance that and make it to where they can take heavier hits and actually feel threatened when they're played. But it's also up to the game designers to produce cards that aren't breaking this balance. So if you have something like G-Max Snorlax with 340 HP, then you also need to add some really good fighting types to the game, so that if you're getting walled by Snorlax, you have something that can take advantage of that weakness if your new focus is going to be on weaknesses. But they also can't neglect their other typings and need to make sure they print enough cards that are weak to Psychic, Dark, and Steel types. So with all of this information that we have right now, it does seem like the Dragon types are gone from the TCG. Who knows when we would get an official announcement if this is the case, but it's not looking good for Dragon types. I would love to hear what you guys think down in the comments. Let me know if you would miss the Dragon typing, or if you're in the same boat as me where you actually think this is a good move for the overall health of the TCG metagame. Stay tuned to the channel for more TCG news and discussion, as well as a lot of vintage Pokemon content, including decks and history videos. Find me on Instagram at DrunkShuckle, Facebook group and Discord server coming soon. I'll be posting those to the channel as soon as they're ready. Until next time, and next video, bye.